I am disgusted by you. I'm disgusted by what you have done. I'm disgusted that I even helped you. I'm disgusted that I was honest with you. I'm disgusted that I even told you my work ethic. I'm disgusted that I saw you. I'm disgusted that I met you. I'm disgusted by you and the fakeness. Disgusted. How dare you? Like, how dare you? And I'm not surprised he'll get his karma. Oh, he definitely. I already made sure that karma is gonna be served.
Turns out the cozy gaming community is in fact not very cozy.
Piece of shit.
The drama and infighting have come to a pixelated head, and it all involves two cozy game YouTubers and a game called Star Sand Island. If you don't know, Star Sand Island is an early access cozy farming life sim. I mean, at this point, which cozy game isn't? It just came out a couple weeks ago, and cozy gamers were really excited for this one. It has cute characters, a cozy world, and a really cool hentai, anime art style. Star Sand Island was also crowdfunded on Kickstarter, where it has over 5,000 backers who raised over $300,000 US to fund the game's development. All this sounds great, right? But when you wipe away the game's cute and cozy veneer, Star Sand Island's cracks start to show. And best believe these cracks are huge.
My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack.
The company behind Star Sand Island is Seed Sparkle Lab, and they claim to be a small indie studio, hence the need to raise funds on Kickstarter, right? Yet, when I was preparing for this video, I found an interview that was conducted in Chinese because Seed Sparkle Lab is a Chinese company. But the interview was with the game's lead producer, and in this article, he stated that this indie studio was actually established by a $5 billion company called Kingsoft. Did Star Sand Island's developers ever disclose to those 5,000 backers on Kickstarter who raised $300,000 that the studio is actually funded by a $5 billion Chinese corporation? No, they did not. But this is only the first red flag. Yes, there's multiple flags. This is the UN of shady shit. Because like I said, even though Star Sand Island only just released in early access a couple weeks ago, this game is overflowing with drama. Because within 30 minutes of Star Sand Island's early access release, there was this strange influx of hundreds of AI-written positive reviews on the game's Steam page. Literally, as soon as the game was released, the Steam page was flooded with bot reviews praising this game. All these glowing reviews were posted by bot accounts with the exact same review history and account activity, and they all left positive reviews that were obviously written by AI. Take this one for instance, which literally just says, "The scenery is so Chinese." That's weird, right? When people started asking questions about this, the developer released a statement denying that they were responsible for these bots. And in their official statement denying any wrongdoing, they questioned whether someone was actually trying to sabotage the game by leaving positive reviews. This whole thing is giving more red flags than a Sims 4 influencer. Who's behind the bots? I don't know who else would be besides the developer, or perhaps the $5 billion company funding Star Sand Island. They hinted that this could be sabotage from a competitor, but why would a competing studio pay for positive reviews on another game? That literally seems like the least effective, most roundabout way to sabotage your competition. And no offense, but this game is too overwhelmingly average for anyone to be threatened by it. The point is, none of this shit makes any sense, but it gets even shadier. A cozy game content creator by the name of Josh, who runs the popular YouTube channel Josh's Gaming Garden, posted a series of tweets outing these strange bot reviews. He even talked about this whole controversy in a live stream.
Yeah, so basically it was discovered there were lots of fake reviews for Star Sand Island on Steam, but the developers said that what's actually happening is that it's probably someone attacking them, and the other theory is that it's the developers doing it.
And by the way, props to Josh for even talking about this situation. As someone who has been observing the cozy game community for a while, I've noticed that cozy gamers and influencers don't like addressing anything that could be perceived as too negative. But this whole review thing especially is a big deal. People trust reviews. I myself look at Steam reviews before I buy a game, so I can only imagine how many people looked at this game and its perfect, glowing, positive reviews and decided to buy Star Sand Island only to realize that the game isn't the groundbreaking masterpiece these reviews made it out to be. Josh also posted a video review of Star Sand Island where he essentially said the game was okay, but nothing special.
It's fine, you can enjoy it, but it would be lying to say that this game is the game of the year or reinventing anything.
It has a bunch of bugs, basically no storyline, and it's just really clunky. But in a live stream, Josh expanded on his concerns with the game, saying it was not groundbreaking and that he believed it was overhyped.
How's the game so far? It's fine, it's chill. It's a very chill game, but it's not groundbreaking, right? It's not a revolutionary game. And I've not seen other reviews, but I feel like people are really hyping up this game. I feel like it is maybe getting a little bit overhyped.
And this is where we get into the real tea. On Josh's Discord, there was a discussion about Star Sand Island being shallow and lacking in depth and simply not living up to expectations. But one person brought up how Josh's critical review was so different to another YouTuber who had showered the game with effusive praise. And that YouTuber's name is Miss Bubbles.
It really feels like a experience that the devs have poured so much love into it. Star Sand Island is my obsession. This is taking farming games to the next level. Burnout can really get to you, but then a gem like Star Sand Island comes along.
Needless to say, Miss Bubbles was very fond of the game. She gave it a glowing review and said it was a gem and that she had fallen in love with it. Her review was very different from Josh's review, as well as other content creators I saw.
Today, Star Sand Island is a hollow shell. It is a beautiful tech demo with no soul and too many glitches.
Would you say so far the game is worth the EA price? Respectfully, with so much peace and love, no.
And I think if we take everything into account, from the bugs to the content missing, I can't really recommend it right now.
The general consensus was that Star Sand Island did not live up to expectations and the developers failed to deliver on what was promised. Yes, the game is still in early access, but people paid real money for it and they're allowed to express how they feel about the game, and the consensus is that it simply was quite mediocre. But maybe Miss Bubbles here just loved the game. We all have different tastes after all, so perhaps that could explain why her coverage was so different from other creators. Or perhaps it was because Miss Bubbles' videos were all sponsored by Star Sand Island's developer.
A special thanks to Seed Sparkle Lab and Renaissance PR for partnering with me on this video.
The fact that she was sponsored could definitely explain why her review was so different to other content creators, right? Now, Josh didn't directly address those comments on his Discord that were asking why Miss Bubbles' review was so positive, but he did leave a comment that said this, and I quote, "Random reminder to always look out for this icon, especially when something is a review." And he attached a photo showing the paid promotion tag. If you don't know, the paid promotion tag is something that content creators have to disclose. They have to tag their videos if they got paid or got something of value to make that video. So essentially, Josh here was warning people to take any sponsored videos with a grain of salt, because those are content creators who are getting paid to make those videos. Now again, he didn't call out Miss Bubbles directly, but his comment did come after a few people who were questioning why Miss Bubbles and Josh's reviews were so different. But the next day, Miss Bubbles went live on YouTube, and for 3 whole hours, she absolutely denigrated Josh.
Genuinely very pissed off. I just cannot tell you. I'm so pissed off. So pissed off. How dare you? Like, how dare you? I am disgusted by you. I'm disgusted by what you have done. The amount of hate that I'm getting, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I've done everything that I do, and then it's all thrown in the garbage just because one person decided to go and spread bullshit. Like, what? I'm disgusted that I saw you. I'm disgusted that I met you. I'm disgusted by you and the fakeness that you carry with you and all of your community liars. Disgusted. And I'm not surprised he'll get his karma. Oh, he definitely. I already made sure that karma is gonna be served. And now there's this rhetoric on your videos that other creators are glazing and we're all liars now, and you're the only messiah who says no wrong. Two-faced hero, isn't he? Piece of shit.
It looks like she didn't take too kindly to someone bursting her bubble. She literally called him a piece of shit, terrible human being. Miss Bubbles also posted an edited down version of the live stream on her channel in a video called "We Need to Talk." false accusations, and Star Sand Island drama. In the video, she denied that her opinion of the game was skewed by the fact that she got paid by the developer.
I told you the video is in partnership. What does in partnership mean? They paid in partnership, in partnership. There's literally hashtag ad in the thingy. Like, what do you mean? People just want to look for something to be like, oh, she's lying. What am I lying about? I told you.
She claimed that she's always honest, even when she's getting paid.
I'm never gonna ask for a sponsorship with a game or a company that is making a game that looks shit, or I don't think it's fun, or I'm not gonna have fun with it. Why would I do that? That makes no sense.
And for anyone like Josh to insinuate otherwise is pretty much an attack on her character.
And it's not the first time. I'm not gonna sit here and just act like, it's okay. Like, no, that's my integrity. And I'm getting so much hate comments on stuff that isn't even true, you know?
As some of you know, I've been making videos about cozy games for a while, and the funny thing is this whole situation revolves around something I've been trying to bring attention to for years. It's something that's a growing concern within the cozy game space and with video games in general, and that is Payola. By that, I'm referring to cozy game influencers who are fully in the pocket of game studios. Content creators who are getting paid by game companies to market and sell games to you. And this is a massive problem, especially in the cozy game space, just because this genre is so popular these days. There are so many cozy games being released every single week, and so many of these game studios rely on influencers to get sales. And so many of those influencers are so willing to take those checks. The reality is, there are very few content creators within the cozy game space who have not taken a check to promote a game. As a matter of fact, I've included both Josh and Miss Bubbles in videos as examples of influencers who've been paid off by game studios. They're both guilty of doing this, but they also do it to different degrees. And it's interesting because Josh's channel is almost double the size of Miss Bubbles, yet she does a whole lot more sponsored videos than he does. In fact, Josh also said he was asked to make sponsored videos for Star Sand Island, but he turned it down.
Because Star Sand Island reached out to me. They wanted me to make a sponsored video, and I don't think I'm gonna do this. I'm not comfortable doing the tips and tricks video.
If you take a look at the most popular content creators within the cozy game space, they're also the most guilty of shilling the fuck out of every game that hands them a wad of cash. Last year, I discussed Iona's now notorious sponsored videos for Fae Farm, a game that was a massive disappointment, yet Iona gleefully promoted it when the developer sponsored her.
So I've actually played Fae Farm, and spoiler alert, I absolutely love it. I was invited down to London to be one of just a handful of creators who got to have a hands-on experience with Fae Farm. So a huge thank you to Phoenix Labs for allowing me to have this wonderful experience.
You guys have no idea how many people in the comments of this video told me that they bought the game because she recommended it and they regretted it. Another creator, Cozy K, always at the scene of the crime, has been sponsored by literally hundreds of cozy games on YouTube and TikTok.
Two Point Campus just had an update for October. Pokemon Go right now, and I Just Dance 2023. Mario plus Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, Power Wash Simulator. This is Guardian Tales and is Genshin Impact.
And coincidentally, each and every one of those games that sponsors her is also the next best thing she's ever played. In a previous video, I discussed 3 different life simulation games: Animula Nook, Petit Planet, and Heartopia. And guess who was sponsored by all 3 of those games?
This is Animula Nook, and its developer Landia Games are sponsoring today's video. Thank you, Heartopia, for partnering with me on this video. Hoyoverse is partnering with me today.
That's right, the ever honest Miss Bubbles. One of those games, by the way, Animula Nook, which is published by Chinese conglomerate Tencent, paid Miss Bubbles to give her honest opinion about the game, even though she's never even played it. And I know she never played it because I was also offered the exact same sponsorship opportunity.
I already know I'm gonna be obsessed with it. I already know that this game is gonna be my hyperfixation when it releases. It has everything I love in a cozy game.
How can you be honest about something you've never even touched?
That's a good question.
This is actually a recurring theme with Miss Bubbles. She takes money from game companies and then turns around and looks you dead in the eyes and says, even though I'm in their pocket, I'm still completely honest. It doesn't change anything.
It doesn't matter if they invited me to the headquarters. However I feel is how I feel. If I like something, I'll let you know. If I don't, I'm gonna let you know.
If you can't tell, I think this is bullshit. As a matter of fact, just in the last few months, Miss Bubbles has given her honest opinion about more than 20 different games, all of which cut her a check. Moonlighter 2,
I'm partnering with 11-Bit Studios and Digital Sun.
Tavern Keeper,
You're gonna love this one. Thank you Greenheart Games for partnering with me.
Petite Planet,
Hoyoverse is partnering with me today.
On Your Tail,
I'm partnering with Humble Games and Memorable Games to show you this adorable goat detective adventure.
Posey,
And I want to give a special shout out to Tiny Build for partnering with me on this video.
Locomoto,
Green Tile Digital and Amplifier Studios partner with me so I can show you this adorable game.
Little Witch in the Woods,
It looks adorable. Thanks to today's sponsor, Sunny Side Up.
Animula Nook,
This is Animula Nook, and its developer Landia Games are sponsoring today's video.
Merge Gardens,
Thank you Merge Gardens for sponsoring today's video.
Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma,
Thank you Marvelous for sponsoring this short.
Infinity Nikki,
Thanks to Enfold Games for sponsoring today's video.
Undusted,
This game is perfect for cozy gamers.
Heartopia,
Thank you Heartopia for partnering with me on this video.
Squirreled Away,
Thank you Amplifier Studios and Farseas for sponsoring this video.
Wonderstop,
A shout out to Annapurna Interactive and Ivy Road.
Dinkum,
So I decided to partner with Crafton.
Disney Dreamlight Valley,
Thank you Gameloft for partnering with me.
Metaphor Refantasio,
Thank you Sega for sponsoring this video.
Lifted,
You can wishlist Lifted,
Twinklebee.
and you can play it right now on Steam.
Miss Bubbles has girl bossed way too close to the fucking sun. And by the way, that's not counting all the games that she gets sent for free, or the games that send her PR packages. And it's also not counting games like Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, where the publisher invited Miss Bubbles to their headquarters,
Thanks to Marvelous, I was invited down to their headquarters.
likely covering all of her expenses, or at the very least providing travel, food, and lodging stipends. We all know influencers are gonna influence, right? But the issue is when these content creators pretend that they're somehow miraculously unaffected by their financial relationships with these companies. Josh was right to warn his viewers about taking sponsored reviews with a grain of salt.
I think you always have to take with a grain of salt when the content is sponsored. Even if I make a sponsored stream, like I'm gonna try to be honest as possible, but you still have to take with a grain of salt because subconsciously, you know, if you're being paid for something, even if you do your best to be honest, subconsciously it will affect the way you talk about something.
So why was Miss Bubbles so offended by the statement that she reacted to it with a 3-hour video maligning him? It sounds to me like the lady doth protest too much. Paid promotion is a plague within the cozy game space. When seemingly every content creator is in the pocket of a game company, we're all left to wonder, who the hell can I actually trust? There are dozens of cozy games released every month, and the viewers and the players want to know which games are good, which ones are actually worth the money. So we often look to trusted content creators to get their opinions. But when so many of them are actually in bed with these cozy games, it limits our ability to find honest and impartial information about them. This is bad for players and consumers on every level. And for content creators, it also presents an inherent conflict of interest. These are video game channels that people go to for real, honest opinions about games. But if you're a gaming creator who's taking money from game companies, you cannot be real and honest about those games that people are coming to you to learn about. The minute you take that check, your honesty is compromised. In her Star Sand Island video, Miss Bubbles claims that she only works with companies that give her complete freedom to express her opinions about games.
And in case you're new here and you don't know how we do things on this channel, I only choose to work with companies that will give me complete freedom so I can give you the real tea, everything that you need to know. I, honey, pride myself with how much work I look into with the contracts. Literally, I spend hours making sure that I can tell you exactly how things are, and if there's something that's bothering me, you're gonna know.
What you, the viewer, don't know, but what every content creator who's ever done a sponsorship does know, is that this statement is complete and utter bullshit.
Should you trust a sponsored review or if I get product for free? I think you should absolutely be skeptical.
Even if you think you're the most truthful person in the entire world, you have a contract that limits what you can and cannot say. You have a contract with a non-disparagement clause that prohibits you from saying anything that harms that game. You also have a contract that gives the company sponsored sponsoring you editorial control over your video. These things are standard across every single sponsorship. In contract aside, you are affected by reciprocity bias.
This is where the idea of reciprocity bias comes in. The idea of when you get something for free, you feel pressure to return the favor, even if subconsciously.
Miss Bubbles is taking money and gifts from dozens of game companies each year. To pretend that you are somehow immune from all the benefits that rewards you, that is one of the most dishonest things you can do as a content creator. The issue here is that Miss Bubbles is denying the inherent conflict of interest involved in her review of Star Sand Island. She's taking money from the company that made the game and then saying, "It doesn't affect me. I'm still being honest with you guys." At one point in this live stream, Miss Bubbles reads a conversation she had with Josh in her DMs where he says, "Look, I'm aware that when I do sponsored videos, there's a bias. That's why I posted that on Discord."
He said, I even tell my audience when I do a sponsored stream and such that even though I'm striving to be 100% honest, being sponsored affects my subconscious, and it's super important for me that people are aware of that.
And her response to this is to say, well, you and other creators might be affected by sponsored videos and it might make you more biased, but not me.
If you being paid impacts your subconscious, don't go and put that on me. If yours is impacted and other people, other creators get impacted, fine. But don't put how your mind works and how your subconscious works on me. My subconscious is not impacted.
Really? Because tell me why in your Star Sand Island video, you gave the most minor sugar-coated critiques of the game. The few issues that you actually discussed, you chalked up to, well, it's in early access.
All of these issues, I feel like, are gonna be easily squashed during the early access. I feel like the majority of these things are gonna be squashed by the time the full release comes out, so I'm not really worried about it.
Even under her review video for Star Sand Island, the very top comment says, "The characters have the depth of a puddle. There's no personalities." This is a concern that I've seen repeated by multiple people who played this game. Yet, did Miss Bubbles address this in her sponsored video? She did not.
The snow looks wonderful though.
In fact, she says the opposite and praises the characters for having in-depth backstories.
So far, I really love how each of them has an in-depth backstory, so, you start to know who they are, who's related to whom, and how each person fits into the overarching story.
This whole thing is next level insanity to me. If Miss Bubbles had not made this live stream, I would not be making this video because I've seen so many creators do this shit so many times. You guys know I've covered it a lot in the Sims community. These creators who are in the fucking pocket of companies like EA who are taking money and give $600 coach bags from EA, yet they're turning around and telling you that they're completely honest. It doesn't affect me. Fuck all the way off. If it doesn't affect you, then why are you offended when people like me call your ass out? And by the way, I'm not friends with any of these people. I don't know either of them. If anything, these people hate my guts. In one video, I really criticized Josh. Like, I ate his ass up.
The developers reached out to let me play early. They are kindly sponsoring this video.
So pop quiz everybody. Which game do you think this creator enjoyed more? The one that gave him money or the one that didn't?
I have a slight preference for Little Sim World right now.
And I'll leave it at that. So I'm just looking at this from an outsider's perspective. And I do agree that, yes, we're all allowed to have different opinions. Some of us love games that others hate. For example, some people love The Sims 4 and the rest of us have taste. We're not all going to like the same thing. That's life. But what really concerns me in this case is the denial. Either Miss Bubbles truly believes that she's unaffected by her financial relationship with the company making this game, or she's intentionally deceiving her viewers. Both scenarios suck. The fact that she reacted so dramatically with the 3-hour live stream disparaging Josh's gaming garden, a guy who simply said take sponsored videos with a grain of salt, makes me think that perhaps she is fully aware of her bias and Josh just struck a nerve.
I know all the content creators always try their best to be upfront, but sometimes, just take things with a grain of salt, no matter who it is. no matter what it is.
He's right. We should be wary of Miss Bubbles and any gaming creator who's getting sponsored by game companies, period. His statement is objectively true. But instead of Miss Bubbles being humble and swallowing her pride and admitting that, yes, I do have a bias because this game is cutting me a check, she did 3 sponsored videos, so I'm guessing she made a few $1,000s. But instead of admitting that there's a bias there, she chose denial. And this is exhibitive of such a lapse in ethics, and it's a failure and her responsibility as a creator to be honest with her viewers.
And now there's this rhetoric on your videos that other creators are glazing and we're all liars now, and you're the only messiah who says no wrong. We're not doing that. I cannot wait to see him watch the stream. You're watching the stream? I really hope you're watching it. Like, I'm shocked.
Nah, your ass got exposed and now you're panicking. On YouTube, there are 2 types of sponsored ads, integrated and dedicated. An integrated ad is when a company pays you to put like a 30, 60, 90-second ad in a video. They tell you, okay, we want a 60-second ad and we want you to talk about these 4 or 5 things in the video. But they're only paying for that 60 seconds of advertisement. They're not paying you for the entire video. So that's integrated, and the other kind is a dedicated ad.
So a dedicated video like on YouTube is where you talk about a single brand for the entire video. And that should be, by the way, more expensive.
The entire video is the ad. Here's an email I got recently from a game who wanted me to do an 8 to 10 minute sponsored dedicated ad for their game. If I did this, the company would be paying me for the entire video. So as you can imagine, these dedicated ads pay a lot more money. Miss Bubbles posted not 1, not 2, but 3 dedicated ads for Star Sand Island. These videos are commercials for this game. They are marketing material paid for by Star Sand Island, or rather the indie studio making this game that just so happens to be backed by a $5 billion Chinese corporation. You might be wondering, okay, so what? She can still give her honest opinion even if she's paid. Yeah, the issue here is that she cannot. At least not fully. When you do a sponsored video, there's a section in the contract called a non-disparagement clause, which states that you cannot do or say anything that is negative, derogatory, or harmful to the brand. So this means even if Miss Bubbles strongly disliked aspects of the game, her contract prohibits her from expressing that in any manner that could harm the game. Furthermore, 9 times out of 10, sponsorship contracts state that the brand has the right to review the video before it's published, and they also have the right to ask you to change anything they don't like. So if they think you say something in the video that is too harsh, they can and will ask you to change it. Remember, these companies are paying you to make a commercial. No company is going to pay an influencer to speak negatively about their product. That doesn't make any sense. That's not how marketing works. They're not going to pay you to shit all over their product. Last year, there was this game called Mind's Eye that sponsored a bunch of big YouTubers and streamers, and I'm talking creators with millions of subscribers, much larger than me or Miss Bubbles. And even though this game was a total shit show, a complete calamity, did sponsored creators like the Rad Brad say anything negative about Mind's Eye in their videos? No, they did not. In fact, there was one creator who did a sponsored stream for the game and started laughing uncontrollably at how bad the game was. And in order to protect himself legally, he had to clarify that his laughing was not done to, quote, misrepresent or harm the brand, the game, or its creators. This is how limited creators are when they do sponsored videos. I want you guys to understand that. We do not have the freedom to say whatever we want when we're getting sponsored, and any creator who tries to tell you differently is lying to your face. So why is Miss Bubbles pretending otherwise? It's not a coincidence that she didn't offer any criticism of Star Sand Island outside of a few minor sugar-coated critiques, but it's her insistence that she's completely honest that's the real problem here. You're honest, sure, and I've been made out of cake this whole fucking time.
Bitch, is this cake?
This is someone who has profited immensely to the tune of thousands upon thousands of dollars by cozying up to game companies from Sega to Nintendo to Krafton to Sony. In this live stream, Miss Bubbles even brags about how she's been so blessed, and that's why she gets so many opportunities.
Literally, I spend hours making sure that I can tell you exactly how things are, and if there's something that's bothering me, you're gonna know. This is why I get so many incredible opportunities. This is why I have a community that is so amazing.
Sweetie, you're just a shill. I'm all for empowering people and the whole girl boss get your bag shit, but this is a whole other level of delusion. Influencers like this are a dime a dozen in the video game space. You are not special. You have willfully allowed yourself to be used as a pawn by any game company that cuts you a check. Anybody can do that. As a matter of fact, here's another example of how messy things can get when you, a creator, get in bed with game companies. Remember those mysterious bot reviews I talked about earlier? Well, in this live stream, Miss Bubbles jumped to the game's defense and claimed that Star Sand Island isn't behind those fake reviews.
And also the reviews, the fake reviews, it's not them. They didn't pay for it. They didn't do that. Someone is trying to be malicious and do that.
Right. And I know where Epstein is. How the hell are you so certain that they weren't responsible? Is it possible that your judgment and objectivity are clouded by your financial relationship with this company? They paid you to make 3 videos gleefully promoting this game. How's that any different from them paying for positive reviews on Steam?
This game is revolutionary, and I'll keep saying it over and over again. If you find that a problem, leave. Leave. Like, what do you want from me?
It's clear as day what's happening here. We have an influencer with a history of being a shill who got super defensive when she was called out. It's as simple as that.
A member in your community is literally saying you can't buy off the community. They called me a shill.
And again, I'm not saying Miss Bubbles is like this huge evil villain and should be canceled, because she is just one example. There's tons of creators who do stuff like this. This whole thing is about a much bigger problem. If you've ever wondered why disclosure laws exist, why content creators are legally required to tell you that they're getting sponsored or getting free stuff, it's because of situations just like this one. Influencers who pretend that they're unbiased and objective and will lie and swear up and down that their financial relationships with companies don't affect them. I'm always honest with you guys.
It doesn't matter if they invited me to the headquarters. I always have free reins over everything that I'm gonna say in this before you buy. Thank you, Sega, for sponsoring this video, and that doesn't mean that what I'm gonna say is gonna be filtered.
No one is immune from reciprocity bias. It's our natural instincts as humans to respond to kindness and kind gestures with kindness. Why did Nintendo gift Miss Bubbles a Nintendo Switch 2?
Then Nintendo UK decided to surprise me with another Switch 2.
Why did Marvelous send her a Story of Seasons PR package?
Let's unbox this adorable Story of Seasons winter care package from Marvelous Europe.
Why does CD Projekt Red send her gifts?
So to get this opportunity to open up the case and just be able to receive gifts from CD Projekt Red,
it's because they know she will return their kindness with kindness. Everyone who is a content creator is aware of how these things work. And it's why some gaming creators draw a line in the sand and they say, I refuse to work with game companies. My opinion cannot be bought. It's not hard to do, by the way. As someone who's been in the gaming space for 4 years, I've never once taken a video game sponsorship or a PR package or even a promo code from a game company. And it's not about being superior or better than anyone else. It's just about being aware and upfront about the fact that these biases exist. So yeah, I think we should start calling out every gaming creator who decides to hop into the pockets of these game companies. It doesn't matter if it's for a cozy game or The Sims or a shooter. I don't care. I think it's unethical each and every time, and I will die on that hill. And that's because it only hurts players and it limits who we can trust. So sorry to burst your bubble, but these influencers have gotten away with this phony ass behavior for way too long. Anyway, why are they both hot? It's so fun when attractive people argue.
Okay.
Didn't even have to pay $15 for a Netflix subscription. I'm not friends with any of these people, by the way. I think I even mentioned Josh in a video one time, and I ate his ass up. Figuratively, I mean.